if you've been teaching often enough and long enough, you see this moment where they sort of get it, and it is so beautiful. Now, the reason that the light around me is flickering is I think these LEDs are on the same wavelength, because this is an LED light that can be tuned. So, but anyhow, I saw this moment of enlightenment today, and it was just beautiful to see it happen. She worked so diligently and so hard in all the different processes. She learned to solder today with a torch. Actually, she had a hand in the soldering. I really helped her, I think only at the last minute, where I thought the ring might be in jeopardy because she doesn't understand how you use the flame and play that flame. A flame soldering takes kind of a special feeling, and you get used to it, but it takes time. So Mila is in her third class right now. Today I stepped aside because I demonstrated a whole class, 5 hours, and I helped her make something. But today my idea was to keep her as independent as possible and let her try to make something on her own. She brought a small cabochon in. I think it was a moonstone, very tiny one, and I knew that the bezel was going to be hard to make. So I gave her instruction, but she made the whole ring by herself. It was so cool to see her go through the process of making the bezel, making the floor of the bezel and soldering it down and sawing out all the little pieces. I gave her square wire. She didn't want square wire. She wanted the shank to be round. So I showed her how to use a draw plate today, and she went through the energy it takes to draw square wire through a hole, and actually it extrudes it round. Now she had to make it to the right dimension for the shank of the ring. And then of course, this is a classical ring with a little bezel on top. The ring was very small. We finished that ring in 5 hours today. 2 marathon 5-hour sessions with me. And it was my idea to let her work as independently as possible today. She chose to make a tiny cabochon moonstone, but a beautiful moonstone. And it was only about 5 or 6 millimeters. And she was going to make the case for that, which we call a bezel. The material I gave her, the silver I gave her, was square. So she extruded it by drawing it through a draw plate into round material. So all these kinds of things, when a student does them, are revelations. And she worked so independently and so beautifully today. The ring turned out great. I was really excited for her. And you know something? She had a better time today because she was interactive, and I did very little for her. I just helped her solder a tiny bit at the end where I thought, well, the project might be in jeopardy if she doesn't get the finesse she needs. It has to be just right to move the solder into that area and get the transition she needs to hold the shank of the ring to the bezel, the little bezel. And I got a feeling at the end that she was very self-satisfied that she had actually done most of the work herself. Mila, what is different about today than the other 2 days that you worked? Tell me what's the difference.
Today I did mostly everything by myself, but you still like...
Well, I'm going to have to help you, you know. I mean, that's going to... My instruction will happen anyhow. It has to happen because...
But most of the time I did by myself.
Yeah, so you did this by yourself.
Yeah.
And...
it was quite difficult, some of part of this,
was difficult, right?
Yeah.
So she made a little ring, very fine, and I'm going to show you the ring.
Yeah, it makes so much fun.
I think the box shows the ring very nicely. That's the ring she made. And again, I'll take a photograph it with my phone to put it in the video. What finger are you going to wear this on?
I'll wear it on this one.
pretty cool, right?
It's wow.
You like it?
It's very cute, yeah.
So that's nice to see you happy. So look at that.
It's very simple.
All right.
I like simple stuff.
And now she's on the glide path, so to speak. She'll be making everything now by herself. She starts to remember the repetitious steps. So just after 3 classes, and that's all you really need to start to feel that independence and the power that you can make anything. And I saw her go today. It was just amazing.